All right. So, hello, everybody. I am sitting outside my yard right now. It's nice. I hope you're all having a great day. I just wanted to come on and talk about feast or famine because this is a struggle that people in every business deal with, and I see a lot of photographers talking about it. And as part of our Facebook community that we've started, myself and another photographer, most of the people when coming into the group answered that they struggle with feast or famine. So I just want to address that today and talk about it, talk about how you overcome that, and introduce you to a really great workshop we have coming up that can really help jumpstart you to creating a business that doesn't live in that feast or famine place. So I'm just going to share my presentation with you and talk you through it. And if you have any questions, I'd love for you to reach out afterwards. Okay, so first, this is our Facebook group, and that is myself and Kate. So we created this group, the Simply Confident Photographer, because we wanted to really focus on collaboration and community over competition. You know, there's so many photographers out there, and we want people to be working together and supporting each other rather than fighting, and competing against each other. And of course, you're going to be competition when it comes to business, but you don't need to live like that. You can, there's plenty of clients to go around, and we can share that and support each other. So we really wanted to create this group to have a really special place for female photographers to learn and grow, and to support each other and make friends, right? Kate and I actually met through Facebook and established a relationship, and now we're doing this project together where we started this group and we're starting workshops, and we're really excited about it. So, you can make some really great connections just by engaging with and supporting each other in these groups. So, feast or famine, let me just do this really quick. So feast or famine, this is something that so many people struggle with, and I've struggled with it. Kate has struggled with it. We've all struggled with it. And it's one of the biggest issues I see people talking about. Even if those aren't the words they use, that's pretty much what they're saying. So the key is to focus on 3 different areas that will really help you not end up in this place. Okay, so number 1, you don't have a solid business and financial plan in place. This is really important, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit more in the next slide. 2, you are lacking a solid marketing plan, which is actually part of your business plan, to keep your ideal clients consistently booking. And number 3, your pricing doesn't support living free of that feast or famine life. Pricing is huge here, and I'm going to really go into depth a little bit. So planning is crucial. Creating a business plan and a financial plan are so important. These are the foundations of your business that set the tone for how it's going to go. You plan how you're starting out, where you're going to grow, you set your goals, you have a marketing plan in there, you have a plan so that, the reality is we have busy times, we have slower times. You're going to have a plan in place so that you know how to budget your finances as you move forward. So this is so crucial to starting your business. And if you haven't done it, that's okay. A lot of people haven't, especially as creatives. We tend to not know the business side, and we jump in without doing these crucial steps. And the good news is you can still do it. You can do it at any time. So, it's okay if you started without one. Now's the time to create it. Know your ideal client and how to market to them consistently. So yes, you might know your general ideal client, but have you really worked out really down to every detail about them? This isn't just about like how much money they make. There's so much more that goes into an ideal client. And then you need to know how specifically, once you know your ideal client, how do you market to your ideal client consistently all throughout the year. The problem with people is that when we get busy, we let marketing kind of fall behind. And that's a problem because marketing has to be consistent. So what you're marketing to now is months ahead. So people should be starting already to market and plan their Christmas sessions, and marketing generally is about 4 to 6 months out. So you want to constantly be marketing to make sure that you are constantly having work coming in. And you want to practice good time management. So that's part of that, right? When we're super busy, we tend to let other things slide. And the important part is to make sure you have good time management. You have that planned so that you're not in that position. You are able to keep up with your marketing while you're in those busy times. And another thing is the busy times are only as busy as you need to make them. So busy shouldn't mean working 50 hours a week with clients and then having no time to do any other part of your business and never seeing your family and loved ones. So, I talk a lot about this, and I'll be talking a lot about it in our community on Facebook and in our workshops. It's really important to not overwork yourselves. As a business owner, you're going to overwork a little bit. But in general, as part of your plan, you need to plan to not be working, 50, 60 hours a week. It's just not realistic. So why is pricing so important to avoid feast or famine? Well, if you're priced really low, then you're not setting yourself up to be prepared for those slower times. You're setting yourself up to have such a high number of clients per year that there's no room for growth. There's no room to say, okay, well, there's some slow times, or what if something happens and you have to take some time off? You're not making enough money to support those slower times or those times off that you need. So, I really want to talk about this, and I'm going to give a specific example. I do a ton of market research as an educator. I think it's really important to be constantly looking at people's concerns. And in a lot of these groups that I'm part of, photography groups, people are saying they charge certain amounts. And so I've come up with kind of an average price of the lower end of price of what people are charging. And I've also extensively looked at people's websites. I'm always curious to see people's work and see what they're offering. And I see so many sites that have just stunning work, and people are so undervaluing themselves. So, and the problem is that it's not only about undervaluing yourself, it's about setting yourself up for failure. And I just never want to see that in any business owner, but especially a photographer who has such a passion for what they do. So most people are charging $300 or less. This is what I've seen, even in high cost of living areas. And I can tell you right now that this is not setting you up for success. And even in a low income area, this is not setting you up for sustainability, growth, and success. So let's say you have a cost of doing business of $10,000. So hopefully you've all figured out your cost of doing business. If you haven't, that's another crucial part of doing your business plan, because it sets the tone on how much money you need to bring in just to simply run your business. And then you work on your income needs, and it starts to become a fuller picture, and you base your pricing off of that. You don't set your pricing off of that. That's just the base of setting your pricing. So this is something I go a lot more in depth on when you work with me, and we'll be talking about in our workshop. But I'll tell you that a cost of doing business of $10,000 is very low, and it's not sustainable. I'll give you an example. My cost of doing business is almost 3 times that. And I don't even have a studio. I don't have a set place. But I have figured out my cost of doing business correctly. I have figured literally everything I will possibly need to spend money on now and in the future. And so 10,000 to me, I couldn't even sustain my business as it is right now without any goals of having growth. So now but we're gonna use that as our number anyway, because I'm trying to show you, even with the lowest numbers, why charging $300 or less is going to really hurt you. So say your income goal is to bring in $50,000, and that's just the money you're going to take. That's before taxes, savings, retirement plan, which are all things you need to account for. So after taxes, savings, and a retirement plan, you are $30,000, $25,000. And if you're planning on making this a full-time business, or in the future you ever need to have this be a full-time business, then you're already setting yourself up for failure, because that's not an income that you should be able to comfortably live on. So you need to make $60,000 minimum. You need that much coming in, right? To add up to the $50,000 income and the cost of doing business $10,000. Now, let me just remind you that this doesn't even include money that you should be putting back into your business, because you should always be investing money into your business for growth again. And so this doesn't even include that. So you're not even setting yourself up for growth. You're setting up for the bare minimum of what you need to survive with your business as it is right now, with no growth, and your income with no growth. So $60,000 minimum. So let's say I tell people to realistically say you work 47 weeks max. And this is because you need to take vacations. Just like anybody else, you need vacations, you need sick time, you need to plan that you're not going to be working every week. I set myself as working less amount of weeks because I want to plan for those times when I'm not necessarily working a lot, or I end up sick, or a family member ends up sick and I have to take time off. And so I plan on that. And 30 hours on clients per week, max. So remember, you have a ton of other business tasks to do as a business owner. You need to do your bookkeeping. You need to keep updates on your website. You should constantly be updating images and your SEO. You should be doing marketing and advertising. You should be going out and networking. You should be doing education, constantly be learning. That's a big key to continuing to grow your business, whether it's a life coach, a financial coach, working on your technical skills, improving on your lighting, whatever it is, you need to make time for all of these things. So you should at least have 10 hours minimum per week for those tasks if you're working a 40-hour work week. And so 30 hours on clients is the max you can do. Now, working 47 weeks, needing to bring in $60,000. Remember, this is USD, so you can do the conversions if you are in another country. You need 200 clients per year at what you're charging to make these bare minimums, or 4.25 clients per week every single week. That to me sounds so overwhelming, I can't even describe it. 200 clients per year, it's like it's setting yourself up for stress, and you're going to have to work that much harder on marketing and getting your name out there and just pushing yourself. And it just doesn't seem sustainable to me. It really leads to a lot of burnout is what I've seen for people. So that's 200 clients per year, 4.25 per week. But remember, you're not working the same amount every week, right? So after the holidays, people aren't really wanting to spend money. So you have really slow weeks. So then there's other weeks that you might be taking 8 clients per week just to make ends meet, just to get to your minimums. And that is going to be really overwhelming for you. You're going to be overworking. You're going to be well over your 30 hours. 8 clients per week. If you do bare minimum, fast editing, your time between first communication with your client through the time you deliver their images, if you add up every single minute, you're looking at 40 hours a week just doing, to do 8 clients. And where's the time for the rest of your business tasks? It's not there. So if you are doing this, you are not set up for growth, and you have set yourself up for feast or famine. There's no other way around it. Now imagine if you're making less money per client. If you're charging $100 or $200 per client, those numbers just went up that much more. So you're just setting yourself up for so much stress, and I don't want to see you do that. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is separating your time from your product. So I'm going to give you another sort of example and breakdown, and I wanted to show you how you need to consider that your time worth and your art worth are different. and it'll help you figure out your pricing better. And then when it comes to even jobs that you're not used to, but you want to dip your foot in, then it will be easier to figure that out. So say you like to sell prints and things, and you have your session, but you bundle it into one fee, and then some other kind of job comes along. You know, somebody wants some headshots, and you're like, oh, I don't know how to plan for my time. Well, if you've figured out your cost of doing business correctly, then you actually know your time worth. And then you know your art worth separately. And then you can combine those to that specific type of job and figure it out easily. It's actually extremely easy to figure out if you use my methods. So I can't go in depth with them right now because it's part of our workshop and it would take a while to really go through. Plus it's very individualized. So I work really helping people individually with figuring this out based on their own numbers. So now let's break down. If you had $300 per client and you give 10 digitals, I'm guessing you came up with that number it was very arbitrary. You were like, I don't know, a lot of people charge this much, so that's what I'm charging. Not a really good plan. And we're gonna talk a little bit more about that. But so you figure that the part that is your session fee is $100 of that. After expenses and taxes, your time is only at about $9 per hour. That is less than minimum wage. That is crazy. That is something you cannot survive on. So $9 an hour, just think about that. Think about that, okay? Now, that example is saying that you value your digitals at $20 each. That's if you're only giving 10 digitals. If you're giving more than that, if you're giving all the digitals, if you're giving 20 digitals, if you're giving 30 digitals, now you're getting lower and lower and lower in the value. Now, I want you to start thinking about digitals in a different way. You can sell digitals. I don't care what you sell or how you sell them, but I'm going to tell you right now that the digitals are your art. All of your education, your practice, your talent, your creativity goes into each and every image. You know how to pose somebody. You know how to grab emotion in a picture. You have learned that over time, and you're using that to create this beautiful image, and then you're editing it in your style. And so this is your piece of art. And once released to your clients, they can print that digital as many times as they want, on as many different sizes and mediums as they want, and share as much as they want, regardless of what your release says. They're going to send it to family members who are going to also print. And so I want you to think about that. Really let that sink in. Are your digitals, your pieces of art, worth only $5 to $20 each? If you really sit down and dig deep with this, I'm going to bet that the majority of you are going to say, absolutely not. That's not what I'm worth. That's not what my art is worth. That's not what all of the time and energy I've put into this is worth. So I really want you to be really thinking about it in that way. So, you know, those are just a couple of things that you really need to consider for Feast or Famine. And I wanted to specifically talk pricing because I see so many people in that low pricing point. And I wanted you to see how that doesn't set you up for success and how it sets you up for feast or famine. And then the other aspects of creating a business plan, having a financial plan in place that somebody is showing you how to do, learning time management and the best practices to be doing that correctly. Learning your ideal client and having people walk you through how to market to those clients. These are all crucial things to make sure that you don't end up in that place. You don't want to be in feast and famine. You don't want to be stressed all the time. You want a successful business doing what you love. And guess what? You can even love the business side of it. You know, I have a background in business, so it made it a little bit easier to be okay with the business side, but most creatives don't have that side to them. And that's okay, because you just need help. You just need people to walk you through each of these things. And once you grasp it and you have it all laid out in a plan, it becomes so much easier and you actually start to enjoy every part of the business, not just taking the pictures and doing some edits. So we would love for you to join our community over on Facebook, just to be part of our community and make some new friends and support each other and ask questions. We have, you know, engagement posts every single day that we want you to participate in. And we also have a very unique business and photography workshops for women. And our first one starts the end of this month, and I just want to share a little bit about that now. So our 5-week online business workshop goes from August 26th through September 28th. And what will you learn in this? So much stuff. You will get assistance, guided assistance in creating a solid business plan. You will learn how to identify your ideal client and how to market to them. You will work on your mindset and energy blocks around finances, because we all struggle with that. Everybody has their own self-worth issues, right? We don't think we're worth that much. We don't think our work is worth that much, no matter how gorgeous it is and how many people love it. And those are blocks that we have in our thoughts and our beliefs that we've had probably our whole lives. And there's actually an energetic way to release those as well. So we're really, that's part of our unique program. We have extra coaches that are going to be joining Kate and I, and they are experts in these things. So we're going to really work to build your business, not just in the strict business sense, but also in those other things in our life and inside of us that affect how successful we are. We're also going to be doing branding, networking, and content strategy. Kate is great at this, and talking about just all different ways to market to your client, because there are so many ways to market, and you should be practicing multiple marketing techniques. And the business model that you choose, the client that you want, it differs in how you're going to market to them. So we want you to have all of these tools. Your cost of doing business and financial planning. This is huge. As I said, it's the base of your pricing. So you want to make sure that you are figuring in everything you're supposed to be figuring in. Your numbers are not going to be $10,000. I can tell you that right now. You are going to need more than $10,000 to maintain and grow your business. So we want to make sure you have all your numbers figured out correctly. Overcoming feast or famine. So working on all those things I just mentioned in this presentation. Workflow and time management, huge. How to keep yourself on track. And creating your optimal business hours, and knowing how to manage all of that. Email funnels, creating VIP groups. So these are big marketing techniques, and they're things that can be a little overwhelming to people. So we want to help you with that. Pricing for profit and growth. That is my bread and butter, and I can't wait to help you with that. In-person sales versus digital, so that you can choose which is right for you in your business. And how to build your portfolio without working for free. This is huge. I see people constantly talking about model calls, and I don't call them model calls, but I can tell you that I make a minimum. I've made a minimum, and this was the low amount is when I was charging a lot less. But my minimum is bringing in $1,000 sale after a portfolio building session. So you do not need to do them for free if you are planning them correctly, identifying the right clients, pre-qualifying people. So I'm going to walk you through that and teach you that in this workshop. So that is huge. That's a ton of information in 5 weeks. You can work it on your own time during that 5 weeks. You don't have to be somewhere at a specific time, although we will be doing live videos in the private Facebook group that we'll have. So you can join live, so you can ask questions live, but we are available to you through those 5 weeks, completely available to you to answer questions and guide you through every step of these processes. So the in-person portion of the workshop is October 11th and 12th, and that will be in Montreal. I'm sorry, I actually didn't put that here, but it will be in Montreal, Canada, based out of Kate's studio. And we will be covering, Kate is an amazing newborn studio photographer, so she will be covering studio newborn session with setup, workflow, posing, and wrapping techniques. She'll also be covering in-studio lighting. I will be doing an outdoor maternity and lifestyle family session, because lifestyle photography is my specialty. I'll be talking about off-camera flash and showing you how to utilize it. We will both be talking about editing and for each of those types of sessions. And we will also be talking about IPS and digital viewing workflow. So how to keep everything working and have a plan in place for how to do your workflow for each type of session. So if you want to grab a spot, these are amazing prices. You know, this is our first one, so we're jumping in, and we wanted to offer kind of an introductory price for these ones. And prices are in Canadian, so look up your conversions. People in the US, this is huge because that number you see on the screen, it's actually less in US dollars. So I want you to grab a spot this time. Online only will be $15.95 Canadian. In person only. Oh, these are switched, and I apologize. Can't change it now. These are switched. So in person only is actually $13.95 Canadian, and a bundle for both of these is a savings of almost $500 Canadian at $24.95. So the bundle price is only good through August 15th. So make sure you grab that ASAP. And it also includes bonus materials. So you want to make sure that you hop on that if you are interested in doing both the online and in person. For more information, you can join our Facebook community. We really would love to have you. Search the Simply Confident Photographer on Facebook. And you can visit the link below this video to go directly to the workshop information itself. So you can see the breakdown of what we're going to learn. You can see a little more information about myself, Kate, and the other coaches. And then it will guide you through the process to sign up. There is a payment plan, but because the timing is so close, you want to jump on that as soon as possible if you want the payment plan. So we really look forward to meeting some amazing people in our Facebook community and in hosting this workshop and really helping people jumpstart or revamp their business for optimal success and to not be living in that feast or famine place. All right, so it was a pleasure being here, trying to give some pointers today, and I'm really excited for this workshop. I hope that some of you will join us, and I hope to see a lot more people come and join our. It becomes a place of nurturing and support, and that people, you know, establish some great connections in there, and also learn a lot. So hope you have a great rest of your day. And please feel free to message me if you have any questions.